If I had to conduct an experiment that would yield insight into an intercultural comparison between the United States and Austria, I'd build a time machine and travel to Germany circa 1955. I'd ask German producer Wolfgang Liebeneier to make a film based on the memoir of one Maria von Trapp. I'd then ask Rodgers and Hammerstein to make the film a Broadway musical, and finally, Robert Weiss to direct a film adaptation. And bringing these two worlds of cinema together might hope for a clash in sensibilities so great that it would result in two versions of the same story. A German one successful at its release but overall forgotten, and the other American one that is beloved and celebrated around the world, representing the embodiment of Austrian culture but unknown in Austria. I would run these two films side by side and examine each cut, and in the difference, I would find something to say about the essence of Austrian and US American culture.
Setz dich.
I'm so sorry.
Sag mir, Maria.
Brings me to another transgression, Reverend Mother.
Ich meine...
What will my future be? Oh, help.
In Salzburg itself, a lot of people have neither seen the movie nor the musical. 300,000 people every year come to Salzburg because of Sound of Music.
People from Malaysia, Singapore, Japan, the United States, England, and even...
It's forming our image in the whole world, but we selves don't know this musical.
Do you know the Sound of Music?
No.
Never seen it?
I've never seen it.
Do you know who Julie Andrews is?
No.
Brilliant, thank you.
Edelweiss is not an Austrian song. When I came to the United States and my host family sang it to me, expecting me to join in, they were really disappointed because I couldn't.
Salzburg really do not love the film. They see that the Villa von Trapp is not the original one. They see that Salzburg are presented all as Nazis, and that's it's not dealing with reality.
It's too American or something like that.
It was too much like I love my country, too much like a national pride, and this image of this dirndl and this leather pants and this countryside was like kind of scary for me.
It's possibly just a little too sugary for their taste.
Yeah, the film was dismissed as Hollywood kitsch.
Christopher Plummer didn't like working with kids very much and called it The Sound of Mucus.
Oh, yes,
because
it's true.
I saw it because he thought it was going to be so sweet and so saccharine, which of course it turned out not to be at all.
Yeah. You know, music, Salzburg, escape from Germany, you know, that's a real story. That's why we have The Sound of Music and why it's so popular.
When I turned around and there was this tall gentleman standing behind me, took out a boatsman's whistle and blew signals on it. Each one of the children, and finally I too later, had its signal.
But the only thing is my father was different, you know. He was a very loving father, and music was in our house all the time.
The degree of disappointment that our grandfather was portrayed as being so stern, you know, our aunts and uncles whose names had been changed, whose birth order had been changed.
My mother was a very complex person.
Anyway, I lived with a friend who was bipolar, and she reminded me of my mother.
The students didn't like her very much. She was very strict and, as I said, a little bit of a religious fanatic.
I didn't want my father to marry her.
I asked her what I should do. And I was hoping against hope that she will say to stay here with us, because I really wanted that, you know.
She later wrote in her autobiography that on her wedding day she was blazing mad, both at God and at her husband.
Far from a big romance, the real Fraulein Maria said later she didn't love Baron von Trapp when they married.
She was an incredibly strong person, had formidable will, literally indomitable will, and sometimes running into that will was not so pleasant. You know, the singing was hard work. And the performances were, you know, there was a tremendous amount of discipline involved. And
when you take a regular family and have them singing on stage, not everybody's going to want to do that.
for most of the family, it was a relief to stop singing.
The people fell in love with Julie Andrews and not the real Maria von Trapp, because she was by far not as charming and lovable as she is portrayed by Julie Andrews.
Unbeschreiblicher Jubel erfüllt das ganze Land. Da hören Sie den Sturm der Begeisterung, der auch hier die deutschen Soldaten empfängt. An diesem Tag, der endlich Österreich mit Deutschland vereint. Österreich hat aufgehört zu existieren. Es ist heute zur Ostmark des Großdeutschen Reiches geworden. Achtung, wir schreiten nach Wien.
Herr Kapitän, es tut mir leid, aber jetzt muss ich es Ihnen endlich sagen. Ich bin seit 3 Jahren illegales Parteimitglied.
Truthfully, they didn't know anything about it if anyone asks them. Will we be coming back here? Someday, Liesel. I do hope someday.
Our father and Uncle Max are going to push the car all the way to Switzerland.
Maria, at the end of the film of The Sound of Music, I was climbing up the mountain to freedom with the Baron and the children, and of course the director yelled cut, and I want to know what happened to you after that.
After that, we arrived on the other side of the Alps, in Südtirol, which belongs to Italy now, the Dolomite country.
Yes.
Yesterday we had been really rich people, not well-to-do, rich. And today we belong to the poorest of the poor because we were refugees. A refugee not only has no money, he also has no right.
No
And
passport,
that we really found out because every country only gave you about 5 or 6 weeks permission to stay. And so we had to wind our way over Europe, from Italy to France, from France to Belgium, from Belgium to Holland, from Holland to Denmark, with the money we made by singing, because we had to earn our living now. And the only thing we could do well was singing. And so we turned a hobby into making our living.
Whatever the truth is about Maria von Trapp's life, ultimately it's not the facts we care about.
I don't think it matters really, does it? It's just fun and fantastic music and everybody just loves to sing along.
The magic of any story lies in the way it's told.
Hey, And she's very special to me because I had the privilege of portraying her in the film of The Sound of Music. Ladies and gentlemen, will you welcome, please, Maria von Trapp. Maria, there's something that I've always wanted to ask you. Now, you know, I played you in the picture, and you are you, and I am me, and since you are you, and I was you, and, well, since you're here, and I'm here, and I was you, I want to know, how was I? Huh?
How was you?
Yes,
Well,
as you.
You were absolutely wonderful. But...
Oh.
And I said to Julie, as from one Maria to the other, with love and admiration.
Oh, Maria, that's
We do hope to see you again sometime. Thank you. Dankeschön.